Welcome to The Power and the Pain, where your past isn't your prison.
It's the fuel for your purpose.
I'm Greg Pihs, combat veteran, NLP trainer, and your guide to turn trauma into triumph.
And I'm Catherine, truth teller, mirror holder, and voice for the breakthrough hiding in your breakdown.
This is The Power and the Pain. Let's go. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Power and the Pain. Today, we're going to talk about self-alchemy. That's a little bit strange. Let's dive into it. So when we look at the study of alchemy, at a very high level, we look at it as the ability to turn any metal into gold. And what if that's just a metaphor in which we're able to turn anything into something precious? And so today we're going to talk about self-alchemy and how do you turn yourself into something that is precious. All right, let's dive into it. So, as above, so below, and as within, so without. This is a bit, this can be a bit unique for us to kind of wrap our mind around, and some information or some a book that may help if you're interested in this information get a little bit deeper is The Biology of Beliefs. And what we're tying into here, as above, so below, we are a soul, a spirit, and then this world is matter, this universe, energy and matter. And whatever is going on at our spirit level is going on in the matter around us. And then whatever is going on in the matter around us is going on at the spiritual level. So we can get a reflection either way. Now, from a scientific level, I like to talk about this spiritually and pragmatically, and I kind of go back and forth to try to make it as concrete as possible. We have, give or take 5 or 10, approximately 50 trillion cells that make up our body and who we are. If we go back far enough, the earliest living things were single cell organisms, and they were living things. They had life, like plankton and things of that nature. Every single cell in your body is alive. It has respiratory, it has immune system, it has reproduction. Every single cell in your body is alive. So you, that is an individual as a whole, and the way you see yourself, is a collective community of 50 trillion living single cell organisms. Okay. If any of your cells become sick, the body becomes sick. As above, so below. When we are looking to alchemize who we are, we must first learn who we are. If you are learning who you are, then I'm going to suggest we must separate ourselves to become whole. Now, when I say separate ourselves, this is said in many a different ways through many a different lens. But we must separate ourselves, whatever label you choose, we must separate ourselves as matter or flesh and spirit. We all have, whether we call it an unconscious mind, a collective unconscious, God, the universe, our conscience, we all have the two wolves inside of us. We all have the duality or the varying degrees of spirituality, which the varying degrees would be that of light and dark. We all have that inside of us inherently. If we are to review ourselves, who is reviewing? We must separate ourselves so that we can become whole. In order to separate ourselves, we must be aware of our thoughts. We must be capable of being alone with ourselves, and we must listen to ourselves. Because again, if we are going to review us, who is reviewing? We have to connect with that inner voice. Once we connect, and any answer we seek, everything we need is inside of us. Any answer we seek, we can gain the answer to from within. If we are gaining the answer, who is providing? This is the separation to become whole. Whatever label you would use when you say what is or who is providing the answer, definitively what we know to be true is the answer is coming from within. If you are receiving the answer, who is providing? This is the separation that allows us to become whole. Realize that there is a version of us that is flesh. There's a version of us that is material and that is matter. There's a version of us that is ego. And the version of you that is pure, that is precious, already exists. It doesn't need to be created. It already was. You are here. You are listening. You are watching today. The version of you that is pure and precious is already in existence inside of you. What holds us back from connecting with that version and to become whole is we live our lives through the lens of our flesh, of our matter, of our materialistic body, of our ego. We all have that too. When we allow that voice to be louder, when we feed that wolf begins to dominate the other side. We have to separate ourselves from our ego, separate ourselves from matter and material. We have to connect inside on a spiritual plane. When I say on a spiritual plane, connect with your conscious, connect with your unconscious mind, connect with that voice inside that is already pure, that is already precious. Now, as above, so below. And as within, so without. When we neglect our spiritual plane, our spirit, when we neglect it, we no longer hear what it is saying to us. It's still there, but it's just muffled so low depending on how long we have neglected it and silenced it. When we do this, what the spirit needs will then, the spirit becomes in conflict. It is not being seen. It is not being heard. We will then experience this in our material world. The idea that law of attraction, manifestation, I'm in the belief of focusing on certain words and how we hold the words and when we say the words and how we feel about the words, and all these things matter. Above all of that, if you don't connect with you and know what's going on with you outside of ego, if you don't connect with you and you don't know what's going on with you, whatever's going on in your material world at that time, whatever challenges you're facing, whatever struggles, whatever resistance, is just a reflection from the spiritual plane. It's just a reflection of your spirit being in conflict. Okay, so you can go in and connect with your spirit honor your spirit. Have reverence for your spirit. And I speak through a transparent lens. Your spirit is the connection with your source. When you honor this, when you have reverence for this, when you connect with this, when you listen to this part of you who is listening, the separation to become whole, self-alchemy. When you connect with this part of you, it's already inside of you. It's not outside. We're not connecting with something outside. This source, this pureness, this is already inside of every single one of us. We have to go in, connect with, listen to that part of us. It sounds crazy, and this will allow you to heal the resistance you're experiencing in the material world. This will alter matter around you. Okay. Now, as above, so below, and as within, so without, it's a two-way road. So the effects are both ways. So that means we can seek improvement within and outside. We can alter within and outside, and both play back to each other. So when I improve my spiritual connection, my material world improves. Let's say I do that, perfect, material world improved, great. And then if I also go more consciously and make logical decisions to clean up, organize, and improve my material world, that will then also go back in and improve my spiritual connection. Okay. When we look at things like epigenetics, and we consider things like a queen bee, and the queen bee is the only bee in the hive that's producing offspring. That bee is protected, well taken care of, and that bee is 2-3 times as large as any other bees in the hive. But something that's unique to scientists and interesting, a queen bee is not born with any different genetics or DNA than any other bee. So what makes it a queen bee? The royal jelly and the chambers that it stays in. Well, then how did it get so big? Well, epigenetics suggests, for those of you just listening, I did some air quotes there, suggests that what we intake, our environment, the external, can have an effect on who we become physically, mentally, intellectually, spiritually, socially, without the need of altering our DNA. So our genetics, if we alter our genetics, then we're completely different, obviously. But without altering our internal DNA genetics, a queen bee has the same DNA as the rest of the bees, even when she passes. She doesn't grow new genetics. She wasn't born with genetics that identified her as a queen bee. That one was selected for the next queen, and it was fed a diet of all royal jelly. And then where it's kept, what it sees, what it hears, how it has to work and not work, what's provided for it. And this alters the bee. What's your mind consuming? Is your mind consuming royal jelly? My clients, all of my clients that I work one-on-one with, I ask them to commit to no less than 10 hours a week of audiobooks. I recommend the book that they listen to each week, until they finish and into the next one. And I get people a lot of times at first, 10 hours? Seems like a lot to just add into my week. I mean, 10 hours is probably about 2 days when I'm rolling of audiobook for me. Over the course of 7 days, we might be upwards of 30 or more hours. What are you doing when you're in the shower? Oh, you're playing those, you're busy, you got the negative tracks playing, and they're feeding your ego because in your mind, you're fucking dominating everyone in these negative tracks. You're showing them who's boss in your mind. And ego feels too good. I forgot. Don't do it then. You need that time. When you're working out, oh no. Driving? What about any time you are not actively engaged with another human or your mission? By the way, the clock's ticking. Here's what I mean. You go through a day, a week, a month, a year. X amount of that time, you were directly engaged with another human being, serving them, or you were directly engaged with your mission, serving, you were directly engaged with spirituality, serving, your family, serving. That's X. And at the end of a year, you're going to find out that if you actually were to track this, X is a tiny number in comparison to Y. Y is all the rest of the time in which you were drifting. Just try it for one day. We don't think we're drifting on that drive. Like our mind's not drifting because I was getting ready for that meeting. No, we were thinking about why Tom's a-hole and he doesn't like me and he doesn't realize people don't know this about Tom, and if they knew that, they wouldn't like Tom, and if they didn't like Tom, no one even listen to Tom and he wouldn't have that say. I should tell people this, but I'm a good person. Let me feed my ego a little bit here. We're not preparing for the meeting. By the way, prepare for the meeting the night before, the morning of, the day before, the week before. Let's get ahead of life. Let's be visualizing getting into a physiology of excellence on the way to that meeting. When we're driving, working out, brushing our teeth, hygiene, doom scrolling our phone, watching stuff on Netflix. All of these times we're taking in, and for those of you that have been on this journey with me, the 2 million bits, the RAS, we're taking in 2 million bits of information every single second. 10 hours a week is nothing. The second I'll be driving or doing something and I catch myself in my head and I'm like, oh, I got to get audio on. We got to get out of here because the further you go on this journey, you're going to understand it feels good to validate yourself in your mind. When I say separate self from self, we are driving the car at that point when ego is in the mind and we're like, thinking all these things. I'm awesome. They shouldn't have done that. They should have picked me. They don't know this about such and such. I'm driving the car. Ego's driving the car. I need to separate from self. I need to realize that's what I want to be thinking. That's what ego wants to think. That's what Greg wants to think. What does spirit say about this? The separation to become whole. Now, what are you feeding your mind? So all the same, the outside's affecting the inside's affecting the outside's affecting the inside. The more we take in garbage content, whether it's food, whether it's the people around us, whether it's the places we go, whether it's the content we consume. People ask me my opinions on things all the time. What do you think about this current event? What do you think about AI? I think it is. You formed an opinion which created a value that you then wanted to validate, so you huddled around others that also formed that opinion, and regardless of how trashy they think, they protect this opinion that you formed that has a value now, that is right, that is good, so I need to protect that. Things just are. and they'll continue to be until they no longer. What content are we consuming? The more garbage content we consume, people, places, things, food, the more garbage content we consume, the more we are feeding the opposition wolf. The more the mind then really grows strong with these negative loops, the more ego takes hold, the harder it is for us to break away and do that separation so that we can become whole. Because we're really sure of ourselves. When we're taking in a whole bunch of garbage content, we are really sure of this garbage. We got a whole bunch of evidence. How could we turn our back on it? As above, so below. As within, so without. Everything going on inside is affecting, outside is affecting inside. It's going both ways. Who are the people you're hanging out with? Stop talking to not your people. Stop trying to convert them. Stop trying to convince them. Stop trying to prove that you have value or that you're right. You just are. You might not be right. Keep walking your path. Stop talking to not your people. Everything outside of you is having an effect on your spirit. Your spirit is having an effect on everything outside of you. Connect with your spirit. What does your spirit say about this? Allow yourself to be curious. Seek out mentors. Take in information. Consider the information. Critically think about the information. Ask yourself what you think about that information. Who's asking you? The separation to become whole. How often do you ask yourself what you think about information? Or is it really important to always tell yourself what you think about information? When we are telling ourselves what we think about information, how things are, should be, shouldn't be, could be, must be, used to be, and will never be, we are overlaying beliefs that we adopted. When we look in and we ask ourselves, if from within we are convicted in that belief, then we can choose to maintain that belief. That's a process of consciously auditing our beliefs. If you're convicted to that belief, maintain that belief. How many beliefs are you sure of that you're afraid of going in and checking on? Because then that means reality is a lot more fragile than you've given it credit. Because ego had you thinking you were controlling the show. You don't want to find out you've been maintaining a belief that wasn't yours this whole time. That would hurt ego a lot. Separate from self to become whole. Ego will never let you do it if you don't separate. All right, when we talk about outside, who is your, so when we are having turmoil inside, symbolically, go bathe yourself. Hygiene yourself from head to toe with love. Clean and organize your quarters. This is directly relating back into the spirit. Who is bathing you? Who is caring for you? Who is cleaning? Who is organizing? Outside, our physical matter, the material around us, have gratitude for it, or stop talking to not your people and get rid of it. Have reverence for it, or get rid of it. Clean it. Organize it. Care for it. Appreciate it. This will change your world. I know it might sound crazy. But remember, in the beginning, I called it self-alchemy. So where'd you think we were going? The people that you associate with, so the material around you, the matter that's around you, is it clean? Is it positive? Does it serve you and the future that you desire and your spirit? You'd have to check inside for that. Is it organized? Structured in a way that's beneficial to you and the future that you're creating? The people that you're associating with. Accountability is a good thing. And trust yourself. Your spirit will tell you. Plenty of people, I don't know who they are. Your spirit will let you know. But there's a whole bunch of manipulative people in this world. A good identifier, a good identicator. When people tell you what they're not trying to do, look, take it as you will, massive red flag. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I'm not trying to be mean, but when someone speaks you with love, they pull you aside and they say, hey, love you, appreciate you. This is no good. This is no bueno. Here's why. Here's the impact. Here's what you need to do instead. Here's why. Here's the impact. If you're going to be associated with me, we got to make those changes. What do you need from me? That's love. That's accountability. Okay, the other side is I want to sound as nice as possible, but I want to let you know I'm better than you. Hey, I'm not trying to be mean, but you should really start running. Listen, whatever vibe you know, if you're like, hey, I like when people talk to me like that, then hey, look, your spirit likes it. Whatever vibe's for you. Who are the people you're hanging out with? Accountability, responsibility is important. And what is the lens in which they are sharing accountability and responsibility with you? Do they lift you up? Do they cheer you on? Do they support you? Do they hold you accountable? Are they responsible to you? You have to trust yourself. The answer's inside. Separate from self to become whole. Ask your spirit from within. So we talked about the people. We talked about the physical matter. That's not just about us cleaning and organizing, but where are we hanging out? Not just who are we hanging out with, where are we hanging out? Are we always in front of a computer screen? Are we always inside? Do we ever get to see the stars? How often are we in direct sunlight? How often do we allow ourselves to feel the rain? How often are your bare feet touching the earth? How often are you interacting with a natural water source? These are just thoughts for you. When you consider the material matter, your environment, the people you're hanging around, the food you're consuming. Listen, I'm not here to tell you what diet you should be on. When you eat, are you being mindful? With no diet whatsoever. Once upon a time, bodybuilding.com didn't exist in printers and such. When you eat, are you being mindful? What happens when you eat these things? Do you feel better? Do you have more energy? Do you have less energy? Do you have pains? Do you have inflammation? The answers are inside. And then what is the content you're consuming in today's day and age? I don't know, possibly the most important. Again, just kind of a loose opinion there. But the content you're consuming, the music, the books, the videos, the news outlets. I'm not telling you what to consume. I'm telling you to separate self from self and evaluate what you're consuming. I'm aware of current affairs. I'm aware of current events. However, a vast majority of my day is consuming information that I consciously chose. Whether it's psychology, spirituality, philosophy, numerology, information that I choose for hours out of a day. When I tell people about their 10 hours a week, I'm like, if you do 2 hours a day, you can take two days off a week. I'm consuming hours of conscious, chosen content each day. We think we need a break. Your spirit is energy, and it is abundant of energy. We feel burnout and we think we need a break because we have neglected ourselves so much. Our spirit says, you are going to frickin' be with me. I will give you burnout if that's what you need to spend time with me. We're burnt out because we are not connecting with ourselves. We're just letting ego drive. Ego has a bandwidth or a capacity of energy. Our spirit is abundant and endless in energy. When we are doing what makes us happy, we'll never work a day in our life. It sounds cliche and such. But when we're connected with our spirit, we'll have all the energy we need. So when I started today and I said the title was Self-Alchemy, some of you got excited and some of you thought to yourself, what the hell is he talking about? And I'm talking about how to transform yourself into something pure and something precious. And the shortest realization to all of this is that you already are inside. Detach from the things that don't serve you inside and outside, and allow yourself to connect with your highest self, with your source, and allow yourself to begin just one piece at a time. We're not looking for perfection. One piece at a time. Every day, start altering one thing in your environment. Put up one more boundary. Organize one more thing. Clean one more thing. Consume one more piece of conscious content. Cut out one more piece of content that no longer serves you. In 3 days, you'll have noticed a difference. In a week, you do it for a week, you'll be launching your own podcast trying to tell other people it's real. If you do it for a month, people will be begging you for the answers. If you do it for a year, your life will have expanded beyond what you had prior imagined. When you do it, the process. Not when you make yourself perfect overnight. In 3 days, you'll notice a difference. When you take action for 3 consecutive days in this direction, you'll have already noticed a difference. When you take action for 7 consecutive days in this direction, you won't be able to sit still. You will have the burning desire that I do to share it with everyone else. When you keep taking action in this direction for 30 days, others will have more than noticed, and they will want to know what the answer is. Well, the answer's so simple, they won't believe you when they tell them, but keep sharing it anyway. As above, so below. I'll see you guys in the next episode.
If this hit you deep, trust that.
Your pain has power, and your story isn't over.
Follow, share, and send this to someone who you think might benefit.
I'm Greg.
And I'm Catherine.
And this was The Power in the Pain. Keep stepping into your power.